Go. Right. Okay, so come to a comfortable seated position. So that can be anything with your legs out in front, with your legs crossed, sitting on the block, if that's good for you. Just going to take a moment to settle and ground before our class and have the ball handy. So we're going to use this ball as part of our settling and grounding. So once you've come to your comfortable position, just make sure you're relaxing your shoulders. So let them go. And find that straight, upright spine. Have your chin parallel to the floor. And just gently close your eyes. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just checking in with your body this morning. Checking in with our state of mind as well, by the sound of it. We need to try and find a little bit of a lift to get us going. So as you check in with your body from the top of the head, all the way down to your sit bones, feeling that connection with the mat. And out to your knees and your hips. Just observing how everything is feeling. Keep that breath going. Remember how important our, our exhalation is, how it helps us to release into these poses and release any tension. So we're going to be working on the fascia the whole of this week. Something that I like to bring into the classes every now and then, the use of the tennis ball, and just remind you all how useful it can be and how you can bring it into your daily life and just do a really good massage and a fascia release with a tennis ball. So we know the fascia is this network of fibres that exists in and around our muscles. And as we work our muscles, if the fascia is tight, then we're going to reach a point where we can't release the muscles any further because the fascia are containing them. And the fascia tend to create these little stuck spots or hot spots in our bodies. So sometimes when you feel an area that feels really tight, and that tends to be where all the network of fibres have crossed and created a tense spot. So that's where the tennis ball comes in. It's really good for releasing that tissue. So just holding your ball in your hand. Just interlace your fingers around the ball and feel it in the palm of the hand. Excuse me. And gently squeeze the ball. Just start to feel how you're activating your fingers, maybe the insides of the arms. Squeeze, just gently squeeze in, just being aware of that ball in your hands. Keep breathing. If you increase that squeeze, try and squeeze as hard as you can on the ball and bring it in line with your exhalation. So as you squeeze it, can you feel how the energy is starting to move up the inside of the arms, up towards the shoulders? Maybe you're activating your shoulders now. And whenever we do something strong like this and we squeeze, we tend to bring some tension somewhere else in the body. So I'm guessing you pulled your tummy muscles together, which is good. We want to create some strength in the core. But use your exhalation and just see if you can release that tension. Release from your shoulders, from your neck. And then stopping with the squeezing of the ball now, just roll it between the palms of your hands, keeping quite a firm tension. So we're just rolling that ball, feeling it massage the palms. And then run it up the insides of your palms and your fingers. So you're just working the ball in the palms of the hands and all the way up to the tips of the fingers. And then turn the ball so that it goes over to the top of your hands. So I'm using my right hand to roll it on the top of my left hand. And then take the ball all the way up the outside of your right arm, all the way up, just working into the muscles, right up to the top of the shoulder, the deltoids, right into that nice area on the top of the shoulder. Might feel a little bit of tenderness there. And then continuing to work it over the shoulder. So working into the shoulder and into the area just at the base of the neck. And then rolling it at the side of the neck. So have a little bit of pressure here, using your palm to just manipulate that ball, bringing it up the side of the neck, activating that muscle. Then take it back to your shoulder. And now take it down the back. Imagine that you've got a strappy top on and you're trying to roll the ball down the back of that strappy top. So I'm working it down my left shoulder, down the back left. And that is generally where you'll start to pick up some tense spots. So that area there into the trapezius muscle. Ooh. And if you do find something that's particularly tender, then you can just hold onto that. It's good to use your opposite arm. That's it, Michelle. Swap to the opposite arm. It's easier to get there. And then bring it back to the top of the shoulder and now roll it down the front of your strappy top. So it's coming down the front left chest. Just rolling it up and down. And then lastly, find your collarbone and find how the collarbone goes out towards the left shoulder and run the ball just under the collarbone, between that collarbone and the top of the ribs. So it's going between the first rib and the collarbone. This is a muscle called the subclavius, and it tends to get really tight and stops us from opening our chest as wide as we like. And this one gets really tight when we're doing things like hunching over the desk and driving the car, sitting in front of the computer and riding a bike. It gets really tense when you're hunched over the bike. So let's repeat all of that on the other side now. Take the ball to the palm of your right hand and then start to roll it up the outside of your right hand and right arm, working up towards the shoulder, Find that deltoid muscle right on the top of the shoulder. Maybe a little bit of tenderness there. And then over the top of the shoulder, really working into that knotty bit. At the side of the neck. And then dropping it down, that strappy top line down the back. I hope you know what I mean by the strappy top. So imagine a thin camisole top and you're just running that ball down that strap towards your trapezius muscle, the shoulder blade. And then bring it down the front of this strappy top. And then find your subclavius, the muscle that sits under the collarbone and all the way out to the side. So under the collarbone above that first rib, rolling it to the side. Well done. So just put your ball down for a moment and let's have a little roll of our shoulders. Let's see how the shoulders are feeling. Now we've given them a little bit of a massage and hopefully they're feeling reasonably free. So rolling them up and around and then bring them back in the other direction. And remember to keep breathing. And then on your next inhalation, float your hands up, reach up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring them into cactus arms. So squeeze your shoulder blades together. Think about what's happening in your neck. Don't make your neck your core. Your tummy muscles should be strong, but your neck should be soft. So inhale them up. Exhale to cactus. Just ignore the little barker. Inhale. Reach. Exhale. And then float your hands back to the side. So we're just going to walk our right hand out to the side and reach the left hand up and over. So finding some stretch in the left side of the body. Reaching away, remembering to breathe. Use that exhalation. Inhale as you float all the way back up. Take the left arm to the side. Reaching the right arm over. Breathing into that stretch. And then releasing. And let's just have a little test now of how our shoulders are feeling before we get into a few more movements. Reach your right hand up as you inhale and your left hand away. And then just float them down behind your back. So we're coming to Gomukha Konasana arms. And just observe where your fingers are. Do they touch? Are they nowhere near? Are your fingers interlacing? So just remember how you were. And then inhale and float them all the way back up. And exhale and release. Let's do the left side. Inhale the left. Exhale the right one away. Inhale and float the two arms together. Oh, one side might be quite different. My left side's much tighter. And then release. Well done. So coming up and away from the mat now, come to your all fours. Find that all fours position. Just have a little wiggle with your hips if they're feeling a bit tight from sitting. And then inhale, place your toes into the mat. Exhale, lift your hips and just walk your feet, your hands rather, back towards your feet. You're in Uttanasana, forward fold. Have a nice stretch here. Feel the whole of the backs of the legs. Inhale as you slide your hands up to your shins, half forward fold. Exhale, take your hands all the way back to the mat, dropping the head. Just judging how the backs of the legs are feeling, the hamstrings feeling a little bit tight this morning. Inhale and slowly, slowly bring yourself up. Hands to the heart center. So we're going to just do 2 more stretches before we get into any real moves. So if you get your block and just put it in front of you, there's 2 options for this stretch. It can either be done like this with the block, where you just place your toes on the edge of the block, and then you really encourage the sole of the foot to come down towards the floor. So that's the one way of doing it. Or if you're close to a wall, you can take your toes to the wall, and you really want to bend your toes up the wall and just encourage the sole of the foot to come to the floor. So you do whichever one is the best, most convenient for you. So you can do it on the block, but really make sure that you're sending the whole of the sole of the foot. We want to get those toe mounds behind the toes to come down to the mat. Hopefully you can see with my picture here that my toes are coming right up. So it'll feel tight on the feet, but just use your breath to release it. And then once you've done that, the one foot, just step back, just observe how those toes feel. Just allow them to come back down towards the mat, and then swap over to the other side. So either to your block or to the wall. It's a lovely stretch of the toes, nice to activate the feet. So really feel as though you're pressing the soles of the foot to the floor. There shouldn't be any gap with the sole of the foot. And then release. Just feel that foot on the floor. So one more stretch. It's good to do this with the wall if you can. Otherwise, we'll come down and we'll do a puppy dog stretch. So we're getting into this area here underneath the arm. So if you're going to do it with the wall, just go to the wall and have your toes against the wall. So you're just gauging that distance, and you reach your hand up and you press the palm of the hand into the wall, so as high as you can reach the hand, and then you send your chest towards the wall. So that'll give that lovely stretch. So if you're doing it against the wall, there's that one. Otherwise, if the wall's not convenient, come down to the mat and reach the hands forward in puppy dog stretch. So obviously you get the bonus of doing both at the same time with puppy dog. So you've all disappeared, so I'm guessing you're all by the wall. So if that's your right side, just take a few breaths, really lean into the wall, find that stretch through the underarm and into the chest. And then release and step the left foot forward so that it's against the wall, just to gauge that distance, and then reach in with the left arm. Just get that lovely stretch. Send the arm up as high up the wall as you can. The palm is pressing on the wall. You can also do this one in a doorway and get even more of a stretch. And then release and come back to your mat. I've lost you all. There we are. Well done. So hopefully, just have a little shrug of those shoulders once more. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit looser. So we're going to do something else which brings some energy and also loosens all of the muscles, and it's bouncing. So just stand with your feet just slightly wider than hip distance apart and start to introduce a bounce into your knees and into your shoulders and into your arms. So this releases what's called the superficial back line, all the way from the back of your neck, all the way down your spine, down the backs of your legs. So increase that bounce, shake the hands out, and then start to really bend into it. Let go, don't have any tension. You're just letting this bounce happen. And then maybe you can bounce all the way down to the mat and all the way back up. And it's quite nice to bounce, isn't it? We don't do anything like this in our lives anymore. We used to do fun things like this all the time when we were kids. So just let it go. So you're releasing all the way from the shoulders, down the back, into the hamstrings, even down into the calves. And then just slow it down and come back to your standing position. We'll come back to the back of the mat. And we'll just have a little mini flow once more, just testing how we're feeling. So standing up straight and tall. Inhale, reach your hands up and overhead. Exhale through the midline all the way down to the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Just observing how you're feeling all the time. Inhale your hands to your shins. Send the top of the head out in front of you. Exhale your hands all the way back to the mat. Uttanasana. Dropping the head towards the mat, opening through the back body. Inhale and slowly, slowly bring yourself back up. So we're going to sink down to the mat now. So take yourself to the side of the mat. Have your feet wide. Toes are pointing out in a diagonal. Hands to the heart center. Inhale. Exhale. Just allow yourself to sink all the way through the center into your deep squat. Just have a little rock side to side, easing out. And then gently and elegantly lower yourself down. So we're going to work with our ball once more. So sitting on your mat, have your feet flat on the floor, your knees bent. We're just going to take the ball, we're going to place it underneath the glute, so the big fleshy bit on the right side. Have your hands behind you, so you're leaning back into your hands and you're sitting on that ball. So just start to manipulate that ball underneath the glutes, the buttocks. And just have some movement, circular movement here. And it might feel quite intense. So if you're finding some of these stuck spots, then just hold over it. Just for a few seconds. They recommend 20. You just hold for that length of time. And when you think you found something that is really intense and you can't hold it, invariably you breathe into it and your exhalation will release that area. So You think that you can't stay there, but believe me, you can. And as you're holding over this stuck spot, bring the foot that's got the ball under the buttocks. On my side, it's the right one. Bring it a little bit closer, and then bring your left foot up as if you're going to do that move that we do on the mat, where we bring the ankle to just above the knee. And then we're working into that right buttock, and we're getting a nice stretch in the left one at the same time. Don't create tension in your shoulders here. Try and lift out of the shoulders. Okay, release the bent knees, sit back on the mat, release the ball. So the right side should feel quite different to the left now. So let's do the same on the left. Take it under the left buttock. Have your feet planted. Remember, our hands are behind us, supporting us. And then just have a little roll around on that ball. Just observing how this side feels. Maybe it's a bit tighter than the other one. Maybe this is your better side. I've got more stuck spots on this side for some reason. And then once you find your stuck spot or your hot spot, just keep the ball there, bring the foot in a little bit closer, and bring the right leg crossed over. So my left leg has got the ball under it, my right leg is crossed. I'm relaxing through my shoulders. And then I release, come off the ball. So let's do a few more areas. So I'm sitting up in Dandasana. Find that nice straight spine. And then take the ball and place it underneath your right calf. Resting back onto your hands once more and just roll the ball. So moving back and forth under the right calf. Just manipulating that ball so that you can roll it up and down. Really working into the back of the calf, up to the back of the knee. And then roll it up so that it's at the back of your knee, but just slightly higher. We're going to work into the hamstring now. I'm on my right leg. So it's above my knee, underneath, and I'm just going to manipulate that area. So I'm just sliding myself back and forth on that hamstring, easing into that ball. And then take the ball to the left calf, so do the same there. So you know with these moves, you can do these at any time. When you're sat in the living room watching the telly, just sit on the floor and do this instead. So much better for you. You might get some weird looks from your husband. Just encourage him to do it. And your partner. Roger's used to me doing all sorts of weird things, so not a problem. But once you've done your calf a few times, move it up to the hamstring on the left leg. So remember, it's not directly behind the knees, that areas would be too tender, just above the knee, and work into that hamstring. Rolling back and forth. This is quite good for the shoulders too, because it's having to support your body, working your upper body strength. Okay, and then release. So tuck your feet underneath you. Come back to all fours. Find your all fours position, spread those hands wide. Inhale, toes into the mat. Exhale, coming up to Uttanasana as you walk your hands back towards your feet. Let your head drop towards the mat. Just observing how this feels now. Maybe your legs feel a little bit freer. Can you drop your head a little bit closer to the mat? Inhale and slide your hands to your shins. Find that Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale and slide your hands all the way back to the mat, Uttanasana. So it's amazing how just a very small amount of massage can release that fascia, release the muscles. So I'm hoping that you are feeling the difference here. I certainly can. As you inhale, walk your hands out along the mat, come to a downward facing dog. Drop your head through your arms. Feel how your shoulders are opening across the back body. And maybe your heels will get closer to the mat. Downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. Inhale and walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Uttanasana, forward fold. Exhale. And then inhale and slowly bring yourself back up. So one last thing with the ball. So stand up straight and tall. Have the ball underneath your right foot. So we're just going to work this fascia under the sole of the foot, which helps not only the flexibility of the foot, but all the way up the back leg, up towards your the backs of your thighs. So holding the ball with the right toes, just try to pick the ball up with your toes. Just have that scrunching action. So you're gripping into the ball. And then roll it from side to side under the toe mounds. And this is usually where you feel that real crunchy feeling, especially into the area underneath your big toe. So work into that if you're finding those crunchy bits, the stuck spots. If you've ever had reflexology on your feet, when they work into that bit, it feels almost uncomfortable, and then you get a release from it. So it's almost like a nice discomfort, if that makes sense. And then take it to the middle of the foot and just roll it from side to side. So the heel and the toes will be off the floor now as you're rolling underneath the arch of the foot, side to side. And that can feel quite tender. And then go to the heel. So place your toes on the mat and have the ball under the heel and just give that ball a little bit of a twist. So you're working the heel into the ball. And then finally, rolling the ball from the big toe all the way down the inside of the foot to the heel. Do that a few times from the big toe. And then move to the first toe. Just rolling back and forth. The middle toe. The fourth toe. Keep that ball trapped and then the little toe. And then place your foot on the floor and just observe how different that feels to the other foot. Does your foot feel flatter? Anybody give me a thumbs up if that feels flatter to them? Yes, great, isn't it? Didn't it really feel as though you're spreading the whole of that foot, connecting it to the floor, and your other foot feels a little bit dead, doesn't it? So let's rectify that. So let's grip the ball with the left toes, as if you're trying to pick it up. Just working those toes around the shape of the ball. And then left to right on the toe mounds. Those crunchy bits, especially under the big toe. So left to right. Getting a bit of pressure here. I have had somebody burst a ball in a class before, and I mean a tennis ball, with the pressure that they were putting on it. So, so you do want to know that you're doing this, but maybe you don't want to burst your balls. And then go to the middle of the foot, left and right. Then go to the heel, so the toes rest on the mat, and just allow the heel to twist into the ball. To get creating that twist all the way up the leg to the hip. And then do the rolling back and forth from the big toe to the heel. The first toe. Really working into the arch of the foot. The middle toe. The fourth toe. And then the little toe. And then just allow the ball to roll away, stand back upright. Just relax your shoulders and just feel how your feet are completely connected to the mat. Just observe any feelings that you might be getting from the soles of the feet, and maybe they're starting to come up the backs of the legs. The backs of the calves feel any freer. Just take a few moments and observe that. And then we're going to come to the top of the mat, standing in Tadasana. Relax your shoulders, find some softness in the knees. Inhale, take your hands out wide, reach up and overhead. Take your gaze to your palms. Exhale, come all the way down the midline, all the way down to the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, Uttanasana. Just feeling into your body here. How does it feel after all that ball massage? So bend your knees enough so that you can plant your hands. Inhale, exhale, step the left leg, then the right leg back to downward facing dog. Drop your head through your arms. Send your hips up to the ceiling. Feel how the shoulder blades are coming together, and feel that stretch to the backs of the legs. On your next inhalation, take your weight into your left foot and float your right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Inhale, send the weight forward, bring the knee up to the chest, exhale and plant it down on the mat, step it through, help it through if you need to. Inhale, exhale, take your left knee to the mat, slide the right knee back, so we're into all fours. And you're just going to slide your feet back behind you, resting your hips down on the mat, come to Sphinx pose. So just be gentle on your lower back here. The nearer your elbows are to your upper body, the more intense it is. So if it's too much, slide the elbows forward. The palms are down, facing the mat, and your chin is just slightly lifted, so we're not crunching the back of the neck. And really try and relax your shoulders. Find that stretch from your belly button all the way up to the front of the body, up to your chin. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, bend your right knee, bringing the foot closer to your back. And take your gaze around to that foot. And if you feel stable, you can take your left hand so that it comes a little bit more in front of the body and sweep your right hand back. Just encouraging that right heel to come towards your right hip. Lovely stretch the front of the leg, the quads. Inhale, exhale, release. So take your hands back to your Sphinx pose. Find that length in the front of the body. Relax your shoulders. Inhale, bend your left leg, bring it towards your back. Take your gaze around that left foot. And then if you're feeling balanced, your right hand can slightly come across in a diagonal, your left hand goes back to reach towards the left foot, bringing it towards your hips. And try and keep that length in the front body. Don't sink your neck down into the shoulders. Release the foot. Inhale, come back to center. Now lift your hands away from the mat and just rest your chin in your palms. So your elbows are in the mat. Your gaze is forward. And just bring your shoulder blades slightly more together. We're just chilling out in Sphinx pose. Just breathing. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands, take them back alongside your chest and reach the chest up into either low cobra or up dog if your lower back allows it. So in up dog, remember, keep the front of the chest open, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Just be mindful of that lower back. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the mat, send the hips back towards your heels. Have a lovely stretch in Balasana. So I'm keeping my knees facing forward here rather than taking them wide and resting my chest through. So I'm getting a nice stretch through the back, starting from the hips all the way up to the shoulders. Reaching my fingertips wide on the mat. Maybe your head will start to come closer to the mat. Inhale and come back to all fours. And then come back to a seated position. So coming back to this seated position, just relax your shoulders. Taking a breath in, float your hands up. Just observing how the shoulders feel, how the arms feel. Exhale and float them back down. That once more, inhale up. And this time as you bring them down, bring them into cactus. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Palms are facing forward. Inhale, reach your hands back up. Exhale down. Let's try our Gomukhanathasana arms once more. So inhale the right hand up. Exhale the left hand away. Get that distance between the hands. Inhale, exhale, bring the hands together behind the back. So you've always got the option to use a strap here, but what I want you to observe is there any difference between when we started and where you are now? So if you can just feel that maybe the fingertips are touching, or does the gap feel a little bit smaller, then that's fine. We're just testing that this morning. Inhale, reach your hands all the way back up. Exhale, release. Let's try the other side. Inhale the left hand up, reaching it alongside the ear. Exhale the right one away. Get that distance between the hands. Inhale, exhale, bend the elbows. Yeah, definitely better. Just take a breath here. And then release. Well done. So take your hands out to the side. Walking your right hand away from you. Inhale. Exhale, reach the left hand all the way over. Maybe your right elbow will come down to the mat. Focus on keeping the left hip in that seated position. Inhale, float the hands all the way back up. Exhale it down. Let's do the other side. Inhale, reach with the right hand. The left hand is walking out, reaching it up and over. Maybe your left elbow will come to the mat. Keep breathing. Inhale, reach your hands back up. Exhale, release. So just swivel yourself around into a semi-supine position. Coming down to the mat, plant your feet. Rest the shoulders down on the mat, have the palms facing down, just alongside the body. And just allow your spine to find that neutral position. So tilt your pelvis up and then away from the mat. Just easing into neutral. Make sure your nose is in line with your belly button. Rest your shoulders down into the mat. So on your next inhalation, Just engage your tummy muscles and start to send your knees away from you as you lift your legs and your back up and away from the mat. Inhale. Exhale and lay your back down one vertebra at a time. Inhale. Exhale, send the knees away, lifting the back as if it's a string of pearls, one pearl at a time. Inhale. Exhale, lower it down. Now let's bring the arms in this time. Inhale. Exhale, the knees away, float the hands up and overhead, reaching away with the fingertips. Inhale, exhale, laying that string of pearls all the way back down on the mat, bringing your hands alongside your body. Do that once more. Inhale, exhale, the knees away, float the hands up. Inhale, exhale, bring the hands back, laying that string of pearls down, one at a time. Let's add something else into it this time. So bring your knees a little bit closer. Inhale, exhale, float your hands up, reaching the hands up and along the mat, the knees are lifting. And as we're in this position, we're going to hold for a few breaths. And if you feel that you can, as you exhale, send your right leg out in front of you. So you're keeping your knees touching to help with that support. Reaching away. Taking a breath. And then exhale the foot back to the mat, lower the spine, lower the hands. Let's try that on the other side. So taking a breath in, exhale, lifting the body, send the knees away, float the hands up. Backs of the hands are resting on the mat behind you, finding length in the arms. Inhale, exhale, send the left foot away. So really plant your right foot into the mat. Feel how your buttocks are engaging here. Hold just for another breath. And then slowly place the left foot down and then the back and bring the hands down to meet. Just take a rest here for a moment. And then inhale and bring your knees up and over your chest, hugging them in tight. With a little roll from side to side, massage the back. And then slide your hands in the insides of your knees and catch hold of either your feet or your ankles or your leggings. Send the soles of the feet up to the ceiling and allow your knees to drop down into the underarms. So we're in happy baby. And just have a little rock from side to side. And then if you're holding your feet, maybe you can wrap your first finger and your thumb around your toes. Taking a breath here. If you can't get the toes, just continue holding the ankles or the leggings. And as you exhale, send the right leg up to the ceiling. So really Get a lovely stretch to the back of the hamstring on that right side. The left leg is still dropping down into the armpit. Inhale and bring the right knee back to the armpit and exhale the left leg away. Just enjoy that stretch. Inhale, bring the knee back to the armpit. So you can do the same on the both sides once more if you want to go for both legs at the same time. As you exhale, send the soles of the feet up to the ceiling. Just gazing up to the ceiling. Find that lovely stretch. Well done. And then release your feet back to the mat and just roll your back along the mat and bring yourself slowly up to a seated position. So have a nice massage at the back before we get to your seated position. Well done. So come back to your comfortable seat. Just catch hold of your ball once more. So I do this a lot in my gentle years yoga, and we use the ball for our final meditation, for our dharana on the ball. So as we sit here, just have your hand in front of you with the ball resting in the palm and relax your shoulders. So we're just going to sit for a few moments. If you want your blanket on you or your extra layers, then feel free to grab that. And just rest your other hand in your lap. Relax your shoulders. Take your gaze to the ball. And just notice that ball. Notice the colors. Just take your fingers and wrap it around the ball. Notice the texture. Are there any areas of the ball that feel a little bit different? Just feeling it through your fingers. Is there any writing on the ball? Just noticing that writing. Noticing the texture of the ball. And then just close your eyes. Gently lower your hand so that it rests on top of your other hand in your lap. With the ball just resting in the palm. Just visualizing that ball. What color was it? How did it feel? What was the texture of the ball? What was the writing on the ball? Just breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Just focusing on the ball, on nothing else. Don't let any other thoughts cloud your mind. Dharana, focusing your meditation on this object, the ball. With your next exhalation, just drop your chin to your chest. Gently blink your eyes open. Bring your hands together at the heart center. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. I hope I've left you feeling better than you did at the beginning.
Thank you, Suzanne. Yeah, great.
And how did the ball massage feel?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
It's great, isn't it? It's amazing how just a few small movements can release into the muscles.
It's like a weird combination.
Yeah.
I think of pleasure and pain.
Yeah.